Sometimes there really are coincidences like this. But to think one would be me running into my older sister in the middle of the city like this? Even I was thinking that I'd never have to see you again, Jade. As large as New York City is, I guess we both just happen to be right here at the same time. But after seeing how healthy you're looking, Ariana, I can finally relax a little. You must have made it past being that dirty homeless woman you once were. I was honestly thinking you'd be living in the dirt and filth of New York City for the rest of your life. I was shocked to see you living the life of us normal folk. Huh? I still think about what happened 5 years ago. Especially that face you made when you found out your husband at the time, Trey, had thrown you away. Being kicked right out of the house you both had built and moved into. You were crying so hard that there were tears spilling out of literally every hole on your face. Well, I'm sure anyone would be crying like that during those times. Having your own husband stolen from you by your little sister? I'm sure any sane person would have been shocked. But the most entertaining part came right after that. While watching TV, there was this show about the homeless in New York. And when you had a really good look at the line of hobos at the soup kitchen, there you were. Your clothing was all in tatters and you looked dead, lined up with all those druggies and forgotten veterans. When we saw you lined up like that, both Trey and myself burst out laughing. And I'm going to assume that neither of you would be able to imagine how difficult it was for me to get back to my original life from there. Sorry about that. But I've never had to be a hobo myself, so I would never be able to imagine such a thing. To be honest, I didn't even think someone could live their life normally after losing their house. Don't ever talk to me again. Just from these texts we've been sending back and forth alone, my heart is starting to race again and my forehead is beginning to sweat. What? We were finally able to meet back up after 5 years of being apart, and that's how you're going to treat me? I'm your only little sister after all, so you should be more open to me again. Oh, that's right. If you don't mind and can make it, I'd like to invite you to our next home party. Just recently, we had another house built, so we need to have a party there as well now to christen it. You had another house built? Was the house you stole from me not good enough? You kicked me out of there 5 years ago, saying you'd be making that your guys' love nest and everything. So why do you both need to build a new house? We've done this because we both realized the last house wasn't good enough for us. It was in a nice location and all, but having to live in the same house as Trey's ex-wife was a little tough on the heart. So Trey went ahead and had this new house built for the two of us. You're kidding me. Then what's going to happen to the last house? We had it demolished and sold the land back to the realty company. We made sure that the house that had all your memories with Trey could never be seen again. What the hell, Jade? If you both were just going to end up tearing it down anyway, why did you both have to take it from me in the first place? Oh, now that you say it that way, I suppose you're right. Sorry about that. I guess the both of us just made you homeless for no reason at all now. But of course, that was a great experience for you, so I'm sure you'll forgive us for that one. Anyway, the next time I text you will be about the home party, all right?
I heard about you from Jade. You able to crawl back out of that life as a homeless person, huh? Congratulations.
Thank you so much for taking the time to text me now. But I'm sure you have more to say to me than just congratulations, right?
Huh? There's something else I should say?
I heard about this from Jade. That house you both stole from me, you had demolished and then sold the land, right?
You want to talk about that? We were to make some decent money off that place. Did you have anything you wanted to say about it? I was the owner of that house, so there should be no problem with me having it torn down and sold.
I understand that you were the owner, but I had one request from you, right? If you guys were ever going to leave that house, to tell me about it then. I told you that if you were going to sell it, I would buy it, so don't sell it to anyone else. I asked you that so many times after you threw me away, right?
Oh, wait, what? You said all that to me?
Shut the frick up, you bastard! You knew all along what I asked from you. You knew just how many times I told you that I wanted to keep that house if you both were going to let go of it. That house held so many memories of myself and Mickey in it. When I was single, I had always been living with Mickey. And after having lived with one another for so long, we moved into that new house with you. You knew just how many final memories I had with Mickey in that house and how important it all was to me.
Ah, now I'm starting to remember. I suppose you did say some of those things to me before you left. You wanted the house back because of your memories with that cat?
I was already sad because of the fact you both stabbed me in the back, but what really shocked me was getting kicked out of that house. That's why the whole time I was homeless, I worked my butt off to make it back to a life where I could make money again. I was planning to buy that house back from you two. Yet you both went and freaking tore that house down and sold the freaking land.
Hey, don't get so upset over it. The house is gone now. There's no going back to it.
What the hell is wrong with you? I am never gonna forgive you for that, you jerk.
I don't need your forgiveness. How you think of me literally has nothing to do with my life now. And the fact that you're turning into a witch over some memories you had with some silly cat? How can you be so attached to the memories of that cat?
Excuse me?
Why don't you just get yourself a new cat? There's no way a woman that just crawled back from being a hobo could afford to have a cat. I'm so sorry for suggesting something a lowlife would never be able to do.
This coming weekend, I'd like you to come to our house. All right, Ariana? We'll be having that party I was talking about with you a few weeks ago. We plan to have tons of really good food there for everyone to eat, so make sure that you fill up. I'm sure it will all be better than that food from that soup kitchen. I'm sorry, but I'm sure there are plenty of other people you can invite to that party. I have no interest in seeing your guys' newly built house. What was that? Could this mean that you are still upset about the fact that we tore that old house down? I heard about how you felt from Trey about that, but you need to stop crying like a baby and grow up. No matter how mad you get, there's no way you can go back in time and fix things. Huh? And really, I would like you to hurry up and come see our beautiful and high-class home we have now. I want to see the face you make when you see how luxurious this house is. I'm just shaking in my chair right now just thinking of how you'd react. If it's that luxurious that I'll be shocked that much, what house did you guys end up having built? Oh, you're wondering about that? Well, this house happened to cost us both $2 million. $2 million? You both ended up spending that kind of money on it? What do you think? That's pretty amazing, right? Not only is it crazy that we both have a house built here in New York City, but we ended up spending $2 million on it. The fact that I get to live in such a gorgeous house as this now makes me a winner. Where did the two of you end up getting that kind of money from? Even with the money from the land you sold before, there's no way you made even $1 million off that land. But here's the thing. We did make that kind of money for this new house. My husband, who I love so much, has really been moving up in his company, and that's where all this money came from as well. That all then allowed us to get this huge loan on the house and everything with no questions whatsoever. What? You're telling me Trey has been getting promoted? Trey? The guy that never once got a promotion while I was with him, and if anything got moved down in salary. For some reason, ever since we got married to one another, Trey's been fighting like a boss. He told me he wanted to show me how amazing he is, and so he started to focus all his energy into work. And because of all that energy, he was able to get promoted. And now he's working high up in that company. You're lying, right? Not at all. And not only was he able to move really high up in this company, but other companies have been calling to him as well. Companies that have been really wanting to hire him into their ranks. After being promoted so much, the fact that he's now even being asked to join other companies is amazing. When a proper woman becomes a man's wife, they will usually start to show their true strength. In other words, all that's happened is because of me. He's already chosen to join a new company now that is going to pay him even more, and he won't even have to work as much. That's why the both of us decided that it was worth it to pay $2 million for this home. Living in a really nice house like this should only make him want to work harder and make us even more money. I see now. So that's how you ended up with a place like that. And starting next year, he will be making another $100,000 on top of what he's already making, so we'll be frickin' rich. Oh, and of course, that's only going to be his base pay. There will also be things like bonuses and extra money coming in due to his success. We really will be making an insane amount of money with all of that. That really is amazing of him. The fact that a man like Trey could ever get into a position like that. Are you aware of the company Fly High USA? They happen to be at the top of the stock market right now. That's the company that's called for my husband to go work there. What did you say? Did you really know about that company then? Well, I suppose it isn't too strange for even someone of your class to know about them. They are ranked in the top 100 companies in the world and are moving their way up to being in the top 50. Did Trey really get asked by a company like that to go and work for them? Has he already confirmed that he'll be going to that company now? Yes, he has. He had to take one basic exam to enter the company with that interview, but he finished that like a piece of cake, he said. And since it was the company asking to hire him in the first place, that means there's no way he wouldn't be getting the job there. No way. And I'm sure part of all this has to do with having me as his wife. Seeing him gaining all this energy after marrying me has really got me jumping with joy. Back when I had first seen him with you, I knew he was the one for me. My heart was racing, and I thought to myself, as long as I had him, then my life would be perfect. I wouldn't have to do a thing, and I would become a celebrity. I'm just glad I was just listening to my intuition there. I made the right choice stealing a man like Trey from you, Ariana. What? So you're telling me that you stole him from me because of that reason? What do you mean, because of this reason? Intuition is a very important thing. Because I listened to it, I was able to get myself this man and a new house for myself. Who would have thought, though, that my sister was married to a man that could make it this far up in the world? I'm sure you are so jealous of me right now, considering my Trey is going to be making another $100,000 here soon on top of what he was already making. That company happens to be my husband's, though. What? I never thought something like this could be happening. I need to go and check with him about all of this right now. Sorry, but I have to go. Wait a second, please. What do you mean that's your husband's company? And wait, what's this about a husband? Ariana, did you get married again? Yes, I did get married again. I can see that you probably can't believe what you're hearing right now, but while I was homeless, I ran into this wonderful man. He was one of the volunteers at that soup kitchen I'd always go to, and he and I both became really close to one another. What? You found the man you would later marry while you were homeless? He was such a soft and kind gentleman, and he really did his best to help cheer me on as I worked my way back into society. Then, once I had found myself a new job and got a place to live, he confessed that he loved me. Of course, I said okay to us starting to date, but after that, there were so many surprises for me. I never thought that the man working at the soup kitchen all the time as a volunteer was also the CEO of a company as large as Fly High USA. Huh? When I learned just how large that company is, I really started to wonder how I was so fortunate to run into a man like him. You're lying about all of that, right? It was already hard enough for me to believe that you got married again. But the man you ended up with happens to run a company like that? And to make everything all the more crazy, that's the company that Trey will be going to? I'm just as shocked as you are right now. That's why I need to go have a word with my husband this instant. Now that I have to run, this is goodbye, Jade.
Hey, Ariana. I already heard some things from Jade, but you really got married again? And the man you got married to happens to be the CEO of Fly High USA? So now you're the CEO's wife?
I wouldn't say that any of his responsibilities have fallen on me as his wife just yet, but yes, He is the CEO, and I am now his wife. And to think a company like my husband's actually reached out to try and hire you.
No way. This is all a joke, right? So were you the one that went and talked to your husband and had his company turn me away from being hired now? Knocking me down like that all because of some personal issues you have? Don't you dare start screwing around with me. I was just called by the company and they told me they won't be hiring me anymore. They told me that I failed the interview and all that and can't be hired. No matter how you try and think about it, there's no way I failed. I was given that exam and interview because the company wanted someone like me. They asked me to come and join them. Are you all trying to play games with me right now by asking me to join the company and then telling me no?
Ah, I see now. So this is about what happened there.
This is definitely all because of you. You asked your husband to fail me like that and turn me away. You've really gone and done it now to me.
Hold on now, Trey. I think you're mistaken here. I'm sorry that everything lined up like this in terms of timing, making you want to blame me. But you failing that interview was not my doing. By the time I was talking with my husband about you, you had already taken your exam and interview and were chosen to be turned away because of those results.
What did you just say?
I understand that it's very upsetting to be asked to join a company only to be turned away by them after your interview with them. But that just means the company misunderstood your abilities and can't hire you based off of how you did when you came and actually spoke with the interviewer. From what my husband said, the way you behaved during that interview was awful.
Huh? The way I behaved at the interview was awful?
You seem to have thought the interview was only being done as part of the company's process and wasn't really real. But to both my husband and the HR department, that interview was very much real and being taken seriously. I get that you thought you would already be getting the job due to the company asking you to join them. But when it came to the way you communicated during that interview and you view in terms of value, you were not the person that they wanted. They wanted that interview done in order to get one last good look at you before hiring you. But you didn't take it seriously at all, and that really showed them the true Trey.
What?
Trey, you were already very late to that interview, correct? And when you arrived, you didn't even bother to apologize for being late, only replying by saying that you would already had the job, so what was the big deal? Then you never even answered any of their questions regarding the work you were doing at your previous company, all before you walked out of there saying, "See y'all later." The company's introduced many people into their ranks by asking them to join because of their skills, but they have never had someone as ignorant and rude as you end up being a part of the people they were originally wanting. This led to everyone in HR, along with my husband and his committee, to all saying no to hiring you.
You're kidding! So you're telling me it's because of my behavior that I was turned away?
Yes, that's what I'm telling you. So please stop blaming me for something you did.
No. There's no way that's happening. No matter how bad my behavior was then, they were the ones that wanted to hire me. So how could they turn me down like that at the last minute?
They could do it because this is business. If they ended up hiring someone like you, then they would have to pay you close to $300,000 a year to act like a complete jerk around the office. They can't take risks like that for someone as replaceable as you.
No way.
My husband was laughing a whole lot about this. He never thought that the man who blatantly failed his interview was the same man that made me homeless. He always thought that a man who could do that to me was troubled mentally and was sure glad that your mental issues came out during that interview.
Shut the frick up. Then what the hell am I going to do now? I never thought that I'd be turned away from that company like this. I already told my previous company I'm quitting because of the new job.
You did? You haven't even confirmed yet whether or not you were getting the job at this company, yet you already went and quit your last job? Normally, you shouldn't make a move until you know you've gotten that new job, right?
But I seriously didn't think there was a chance of me not getting the job. What am I gonna do? I already went to my old boss and manager and bragged to them about the new job I'm getting. If I go back to them and say I'm not quitting after all because I got turned away, I can't be in such an embarrassing situation like that.
Well, then you'd better hurry up and find a completely new company that will hire you. I was told that plenty of other companies were also wanting to hire you, right? Hurry up and start telling them that you'll take the job and go to their interviews. Ariana, please, can you please lend me some money? I just need $30,000 from you is all. What? Right now we won't be able to pay the loan on our house. At the end of this month, we have to make another payment, yet we have nothing in our bank accounts. You're joking, right? You guys didn't even have any savings? Well, when we moved into this house, we went out and bought all of our furniture and electronics to fill the house with. We also went out and bought a brand new Ferrari. I didn't think that all of that spending would come and bite us in the butts this month. After having to pay for all of those other things, we have no money for the loan. I see. And that's your reason for wanting money from me now? Don't you think, for starters, you can pay us enough for the next couple of months to pay off some of the loan? We never thought that Trey would end up being turned away from that job at Fly High USA. He is trying so hard right now to find a new job, but he won't ever be paid in time for this next payment. That does seem pretty tough for the both of you. But I'm not handing you any money. If you are all out of money, then go find yourselves a loan shark or someone to borrow from. And right now, no one is willing to give us money. Not even the loan sharks around here. The fact that we have this massive loan to pay off, as well as the fact that neither of us are working, they all tell us that they will never get any money back from us, so there's no agreement that can be made. Everyone keeps turning us away, banks and loan sharks alike. Oh dear. So please help us. And if you'd really like me to bring this up, he was once your husband and he's at fault for all of this. I think you have to be just as responsible for this happening as he is. Oh, hold on. That's your husband now, and so far, what's happening is exactly what the man deserves. He went into my husband's company with a toxic attitude and tried to act as though he already had the job. These days, loans on houses are really tough. And since this house is so expensive, things have been made worse. We could try and tell the bank to give us a little more time, but then the interest would skyrocket on us. Oh, is that right? So please, I am seriously asking for just a little money from you. You're the wife of a CEO after all, so you should have tons of money you can use, right? Of course we'll pay you back that money you lend us someday. I'm really sorry, Jade. Just like the two of you, I don't have any money in my savings. Huh? Not even a penny? Even though you're married to a CEO? You guys went and sold the land from the previous house, right? Well, I just recently went and bought that land back from the realtor. And in order to do that, I had to use up all my money that I had saved. Huh? I no longer have the house that contained all my best memories, but at least the land is still around for me to keep. So I'm thinking I'll have a new building built here, and I'll turn it into a cat cafe in memory of my Mickey. That's always been a dream of mine ever since I was a little girl. Are you being serious right now? You really went and spent all your money on that? Actually, as of right now, I'm in a little bit of debt myself. I had to borrow some money from my husband to make things work, and we'll have to pay him back later. So let's the both of us do our best to make some money. I want to save all kinds of cats off the street and make them my employees, and then make the money to pay my husband back. You're making it seem like you care more about those cats than your own sister. Well, of course I am. They are all cats after all. All so cute and fluffy. Way more cute than you are, especially. What? I understand that a lot of people think that cats can be mean and all, but when you treat them nice, they'll respect you as family. Unlike the two of you, who are neither cute nor have the ability to treat anyone nicely, no matter who they are or what they do. Excuse me? Before you start to cry and beg for my help, why don't you help your husband out by finding yourself a job as well? You're not making any money yourself, and if you can't pay off that loan soon, you'll both be evicted from there by the bank. If that happens, then you both will become the newest additions to New York's homeless. Come on now, Ariana! I will not let myself become homeless! I'll send you a list later on of all my most recommended soup kitchens around the city. Good luck to the both of you now! These are all things I've heard from rumors, but it sounds like Trey, although very embarrassed in doing so, tried to go back to his old company and ask for them to forget about him quitting. But that company had already finished the process of letting him go, so there was no way back into his old job. He then began to freak out and started calling all the companies that had been wanting to hire him before. However, all of them had gotten other people to apply within that time, so there were no more positions open for Trey. Due to there being no easy jobs for him then, Trey went and sold that brand new house back to the bank, and in a single day moved out into a very small and cheap apartment with Jade. The only problem is that even with selling the house back, they would still need to owe around $200,000 to the bank. So right now, they're both working about 3 jobs each at local bars and diners, paying off whatever they can each month. It seems that things really didn't go their way when Trey didn't get that job he bragged about, and they couldn't keep the house that they were also bragging about. Now, with them being in pretty serious debt to the bank, who knows when they'll be back to living the life they were so accustomed to. Are you trying to make me look bad by not inviting me? You could have at least invited me to come and see your fiancé before the both of you get married, right? Huh? I heard about what's going on with you through the grapevine page. You're not planning on getting married, right? And just recently you had the family get together to see him with you, right? Yet you decided to be a complete jerk after not inviting your own little sister to see him. I never thought about you as such a cold person, okay? Until today. Why are you coming to me with all of this right now? First of all, what makes you think I'd invite my sister after she cut ties to me? Are you still going on about how you and I don't talk anymore? It was only you that chose to cut ties with me and have since then always ignored me in every way. Are you actually going to be this upset with me taking your ex-boyfriend from you to the point you have to act like a baby the rest of your life about it? Huh? What did you say? I wasn't doing anything wrong by taking him away. I just wanted to have a little fun, and he was the fun I was willing to take from my own sister. I get that you want to be upset about that still, but how about you blame your crappy ex-boyfriend for that one? I was just caught in his crossfire is all. He was already looking for a new woman, and I was right there at the time. So be mad at him, all right? What is wrong with you and this idea that you can just get away with something like that? I am aware that he is stupid for what he's done, and I'm pissed about that, but you don't just get a free pass for something like that. Hearing from you yourself now that you stole him from me all for a little fun just disgusts me now. I think it's only fair that I asked you to stay the hell away from me. What? And it wasn't just that you stole him from me, but you got pregnant from him as well. I was at the point in my relationship with him that I really wanted to marry him. Yet when you should have been coming to me with a massive apology, you started talking about how we should celebrate you having his baby. Do you have any idea how badly you hurt me back then by acting like that? What are you going on about? It's making me laugh. Did I really say something like that? It may have been years ago now, but no matter how many years it's been, I am never forgiving you for that. I don't ever want to see your face again, and after today, I don't plan on ever talking to you again, and I mean it this time. Then, does this mean that you're not going to even invite me to your wedding? Not even inviting your own little sister to your wedding? Are you really sure you want to do that to me? I've already explained what kind of monster you are to my man and his parents. And they are all very happy with my decision to leave you out of my life. So you are never going to be meeting with him. Now, since you should understand that, don't ever talk to me again.
Hey, Paige, the two of us, I think it's time we both started working on being a thing again. Now that I've had a little time to think on it, you and I should be getting married.
Huh? What is going on with me having to talk to both of you in one day now? I just had to talk with Alyssa, and now you?
What? You spoke with Elise a little bit ago.
Yeah, just a little bit ago. She told me she never heard about my wedding and that she was upset with me not inviting her to see my fiancé. What makes her think she can say things like that when we cut ties long ago?
What? Hold on a second. Paige, do you have plans to get married to another man now? You have a man like me around, yet you plan to marry another man?
Excuse me?
There is no way that's allowed to happen. You are going to get back together with me. You should be happy that you got this text from me saying I want to get back together with you. Paige, you should be getting married to me.
Shut the hell up, Kurt. Who do you think wants to get back together with you right now? And by the way, don't you already have a kid with Alyssa? Don't frickin' ask me to get back together with you when you have a new responsibility now.
Now listen to me, Paige. To be honest with you, her and I don't actually have a kid. All of that was a lie to get you to let me have her at that time.
Huh?
That chick was trying to take advantage of me. She made that lie up to make me responsible for her. And that was her plan of getting you to leave me. And that changed my mind and made me want to marry her. But right after her and I married, she told me the baby was never a thing.
Is that so?
But I never thought she would actually lie to me, and I believed that she really would have my baby. I only really wanted to be with her all this time because of that baby, but when I really did learn that it was a farce, I asked to divorce her. But my parents both told me that if I didn't stay with her and take care of her until the end, that they'd be cutting ties with me. But I don't want to be with her anymore.
So it's not just that she lost the baby. In reality, she was never carrying a baby to begin with?
Yeah, that's right. And once I found all of that out, it was over for her. I learned that she hated always being in second place to you. And that's why she wanted to steal one of your boyfriends from you. So she made that lie up in order to break us apart and get me to go after her.
And so she made up a lie saying that she was carrying your baby? What tenacity.
When I asked her about why she did all of that to you and I, she just started to laugh. You found out, huh? That's all she had to say about it.
That girl is really something.
It was the worst for me. She acted like I was just some game for her to play. If it hadn't been for that lie, you and I would have never had to break up back then. So hey, Paige, let's you and I get back together. The only person I've ever loved had only been you, okay?
You really think I'm going to believe such crap like that? Even if she didn't lie about carrying your baby, you and I would have been finished.
What?
I can totally sympathize with the fact that she lied to you to get you to play along with her. But you have no right trying to make yourself out as the victim in all of this. Whether it was true that she had your baby or not, you still cheated on me with her. I don't care if it happened to be a one-night thing between you two, or if it had been going on for a while. The truth is that you slept with her, and that's enough to get me to leave you.
I can see that, but the woman I truly love is only you, Paige. Please, let's you and I get back together. If you don't, my life is going to be over with. If I can't fix things with you, I won't have anywhere to go, and I won't ever be able to get that company.
Huh? Company?
When I found out that it really was all a lie, I divorced her and got away. And from there I went back to my parents' place, but they told me they had had enough of me. I tried so hard to explain the situation to them, but they wouldn't forgive me for what had happened. And that's when they told me that they would never let me run their company either in the future.
Now that you mention it, you're the son of a CEO, right?
It's not that huge of a company though, okay? But at this point, I won't have anything left for me. The only way to get my life back is to get back into my family. I've been going back to their house night after night, now crying and begging for them to forgive me. And to my surprise, it seems they started to lighten up to me a bit. They came to the door just the other day and told me that I needed to get married.
Married?
They said that if I wanted their forgiveness, I needed to find another woman and get married again. They then stated that depending on who the woman was that I married, they'd rethink things about me. They want for me to have a wife and house again, and said that if I can make that happen, they'll rethink letting me have their company.
I see. And that's your reason for wanting me to get back together with you? You want me only as a tool to help you get back on your parents' good side so that you can get their company?
Now, you don't have to say it like that, okay? If I'm able to become the next owner of that company, I'll be able to treat you to a lot of things. You won't even have to work or anything like that. I just want you to be by my side, and that's all I ask. I want to make things up to you for having cheated on you way back then.
Well, thank you for that offer. But please, go out and find yourself another woman who might respect you a little bit more.
What?
Find a woman that will take good care of you and stay by your side as you treat them with all your parents' company's money. I'm sure there will be a lot of women that would love to marry you if you started to tell them they'd never have to work again.
I've already tried that, but nobody's bitten. It appears that most people in the city around our age already know about how I ended up going for my ex's younger sister mid-relationship. I've tried so hard to get women to just listen to my side of the story, but they won't have it. So please, you're the only woman left for me. Please, get married to me, Paige.
No, thank you, Kurt. If you're not able to find any woman in this city willing to marry you, then go try searching in another city far away from here. Or what about this? Why don't you just remarry my lying little sister and rekindle what love you had for her before?
I can't.
I'm going to go now. Hey, Alyssa? What the hell is this? Were you able to get the wedding invitation? When I heard that you'd be getting married, I just knew I had to get up and do something myself. I'm inviting you to my wedding, so make sure you RSVP and come. I'm not talking about your wedding, but about the man you plan on marrying. The man's name that's written on here looks a whole lot like someone I know. The exact same, actually. Ah, you already saw that? Well, to tell you the truth, I'm going to be getting married to your fiancé. I was proposed to by him. Huh? He did it just as I was starting to think about stealing him from you. I can't believe he'd contact me asking for my hand in marriage the moment I started to think that I'd go after him. Perfect timing. Hold on a minute, Alyssa. Did you think you'd be able to get another one of my partners again? I did. After all, it's really fun to do. I just love looking at your reaction the moment you hear about me taking one of your most valuable things, and that being the men you like. You always turn red like a lobster and begin to sob and scream. It's all so hilarious. Watching you go ballistic and lose your mind is one of my favorite pastimes, Paige. What kind of messed up hobby is that? I know that you've always had a great time in the past taking my clothes and toys from me just to laugh at me crying. But you taking men from me gives you that same kind of joy? This has seriously all been on purpose then? It sure has. I loved taking things like your dolls from you and coloring all over them with markers to make you scream, and take your clothing from you only to return them all covered in mud and crap. It's so much fun watching you go off like an insane person when you watch me ruin all your most important things. So that's your reason for taking Kurt from me back in the day? And now I have your fiancé. And by the way, he is such an outgoing man. I haven't even met him in person, yet he's already started by asking me to marry him over the phone, and in such a loving and romantic way too, which is hard to say given he did say it over text, but he still made it seem so beautiful. Wait, you haven't even met him in person yet? He told me that you were trying so hard to keep the thought of me out of his head in any way possible. But when he went to Mom and Dad's house with you, he saw a few pictures of me there. And so that's what got him to immediately start falling for me, and he spent day after day working with all his power to find my phone number. Are you kidding me? And so, with all that being said, I am once again going to be stealing another important partner of yours. And not only will I be stealing him from you, but I've already been proposed to him, and I will be getting married before even you two could have your wedding. My groom is going to be your fiancé. I'll make sure to have a seat made up for you at the wedding where you can watch the two of us get married with the best view possible. I got married 2 years ago, though. Huh? So I'm telling you right now that my man cannot marry you. It's not allowed in our state to marry two different people, so I don't think you'll be able to get away with it. Actually, he's sitting right next to me right now and is telling me he's never met you or talked to you. He's a bit freaked out right now. He keeps asking why he's going to have to marry you while pacing around the room. Wait a sec. You said you two got married 2 years ago? What are you talking about? There's a rumor going around about you getting married soon, right? And you only just had the family meet with him a few weeks ago, right? I'm not sure who you're hearing all these rumors from, but those are all just rumors. If you'd like to hear the real news, the next one getting married will be my husband's little brother. We did happen to have a family meeting with him a few weeks ago, but I was only with him and his family because I'm his older brother's wife. Are you kidding me? So in other words, you had the wrong idea all along. You took that rumor for fact and jumped to conclusions way too quickly. So, you really did get married 2 years ago? But I happened to get a text from him directly. It had to have been from your fiancé, Robert, right? He told me that he realized just how beautiful I am and that he wants to marry me. He then told me that he'd break things off with you before your wedding and come for me. If you can't believe me, then I'll send you his messages as proof. Are you sure you weren't just confused about all of that as well? What? Just like with the rumor, you might have started to make things up in your head and made yourself think that the man you're talking to is my Robert. I mean, people can say they are whoever they want to be, right? So that guy might have just changed his name to match my husband's in some way to get you to go after him. They would never do that to me, right? I mean, you haven't even met them in person, right? So you seriously can't start thinking that they're my husband until you've at least met them in person, okay? Wait. What are you going on about? I'm really scared now. If he's not really your fiancé, then who the hell is he? You think I'd know who he is? How about you text him and ask? This is the worst. Just as I was starting to think it was some idiot, it turned out to be Kurt. He lied about being your man just so he could get me to say yes about marrying him. So it turns out it was Kurt that lied to you about who he was? I have no idea what's going on here now. What the hell does he want with me? I was already in the works of handing in my marriage forms and everything to Robert, and he's going to tell me that he'd been lying about being Robert? I was feeling so good thinking that I'd once again been able to take another one of your men. But because of that idiot, I've lost all that happiness. Hold on now, what do you mean you've sent in those marriage papers? He asked me to do that for him. He told me that in order to get married to him as soon as possible to send in the marriage papers. That's why I got in my car and went over to the city office as quickly as I could to sign the papers and hand them in. It cost me my money to do all of that as well. I'm pissed now knowing that all of that work to get those papers filled out was a waste. My God. So this is it for you then, huh? Huh? What do you mean this is it for me? I'd say you're better off calling the city office and asking them about what you'd just done. I think you might have just filled out the forms to marry Kurt instead of Robert. Huh? Why? What are you talking about? Stop talking to me and go call the office and ask them. You'll learn a lot more from them. I heard about it all from Alyssa. You lied to her and got her to marry you?
And because of what you recommended to me, I'll finally be able to get my parents' company. Thanks for that one, Paige.
What?
You told me before to just remarry your little sister, right? Well, I took that into consideration and followed through. I thought that if even you were telling me you didn't want to marry me, then my only choice would be getting back with Elisa again. But ever since her and I got divorced, she's been ignoring all my texts and everything. So I went ahead and created a new number and labeled myself as your fiance, and that's how I got her to bite.
So you did all that to get her to sign the marriage forms? I feel like that right there is like what she did to you in the first place that pissed you off. Lying to you about her baby, and now you've lied to her about your identity.
Who cares? I was able to trick her into signing the paperwork, and now my parents are pleased with me. I'll be able to get that company from them and be the next CEO.
But you do understand how Alyssa must feel now.
Huh? She did the same thing to me, so who actually cares?
Yeah, I guess so. Well, while you and her have fun with yet another mess, let me just tell you that I've been married now for 2 years.
What? Is that right?
So with that, can we just agree to focus on ourselves now and not get involved with one another anymore? You and Alyssa can go right ahead and enjoy your second time being married to one another, and I can go back to focusing on my family. Paige, what should I do? I'm married to Kurt again. They've already completed all the processing for the marriage, and I can't have them revoke it now. Well, you did happen to sign it yourself in person there, so I don't think they'd revoke it without a really good reason from you anyway. And what makes all this worse is Kurt is being a real dick right now. He's not apologizing to me whatsoever for lying about him not being Robert. All he keeps telling me now is to shut up and come to his place. I am not going to go to his parents' house and live with all of them again. But now you'll be able to be the wife of a soon-to-be CEO, right? You'll live the life of a rich person, so what's so bad about that? What about their life means I'll live like a rich person? They're telling me they'll only give me a little bit of money each month. And Kurt's told me that once his parents are too old to care for themselves, I will have to step in and care for the both of them. I do not want to live the life as some old people's caretaker. Oh my, I guess Kurt is going to be pretty strict about things this time. He told me back when he wanted me to get back together with him after we married, I wouldn't have to do a thing besides sit back and relax. I think he's still upset with me after I lied to him about being pregnant. So he told me that the only reason he married me is to get the company from his parents and that there's no love in it. I really messed up thinking that he loved me as much as he did back then. Because now he's going to ruin my life by being so cruel to me. Oh my, oh my. Please, Paige, can you come and help me? I really want to divorce him now and get away from this hellhole. You think I'm going to listen to your cries for help? You and I have been far from one another for a long time now, and I still haven't said that I'm done having cut ties with you. I'll apologize for everything I did to you before. I'm so sorry for being a jerk to you all your life. Just think about it as me being really jealous of you this whole time, okay? I mean, you had lots of friends, you studied for all your classes, and you could play all kinds of sports. I think I was just wanting to be so much more like you that I started to bully you in some ways. But I will never do anything like those things to you again, so forgive me, please. No frickin' way. What? After hearing what you just said to me, I'm actually starting to hate you even more. I have taken such good care of all my friends, and I made sure to actually put time into both sports and school so that I'd be a really successful woman. But in your case, you never bothered to fix that selfish attitude of yours and always told Mom and Dad that studying and sports were stupid and that you didn't want to try. So you're going to tell me now that you were jealous of all that stuff even though you said it was all stupid before? I'm not going to forgive a single thing that you've done to me. I'm sorry about that. But this time I've really learned that what I did was not all right. Have fun living in the hell you've asked for. Since I'm upholding my end of me cutting ties to you, I'm not going to be celebrating this wedding. So have a great life. Kurt went ahead and took Alyssa with him back to his parents' house. But when he brought her home with him, his parents said that they didn't want him to be getting remarried to the woman he'd just divorced and were furious with him. His dad even went ahead and told him that all of the company's customers knew about how Kurt and Alyssa's relationship went last time and that it's put a strain on the company's image. And then proceeded to tell Kurt that he would not allow such a waste to be the next CEO of his company. So right then and there, Kurt's parents kicked him and Alyssa out of their house for good. Kurt began to freak out, saying that they didn't follow the promise they made to him while standing in their front yard. He even went to the company and started to make a big deal about his dad's choice. And all the employees that walked into work that day told him they'd never work for a man that thought it was okay to cheat on his girlfriend with her little sister and then marry said sister. They even began to ask if he'd be able to pay them all when the time came that the company began to fail if he became their CEO. So many of the employees began digging into Kurt that he ran away from the place bawling his eyes out. Unfortunately for Alyssa, she can't find a way to run away from Kurt. And so as of right now, they're both having to work part-time jobs in the city and live in a small and old apartment where they barely make enough to afford it. But with this marriage, they won't even speak a word to one another, and I'd have to say it seems like the most quiet marriage in the world at the moment. Diana, can I talk with you for a minute? I have some things to ask you about regarding my wedding. What do you want to know? Also, shouldn't you be asking someone like Mom for help with something like the wedding? My husband and I never had a wedding, so we're not going to be that helpful, I feel. Well, actually, this isn't directly about the wedding. This is about the people I'm planning on inviting to the wedding. What? Do you want to just call about this? It might be easier for us to talk about all of it that way. No, I'd much rather talk to you about this through text. I feel like over the phone it'd be a bit hard for me to tell you. What are you trying to get at here? Just tell me what you have to say. I'm all ears here. I've already told you before that I plan on quitting my job since I'm getting married, right? You did say something about that to me before. And you plan to go to your husband's company after the wedding, right? Isn't he the guy running the company that you've always wanted to be a part of? Before you always complained about how you never got hired by that company, so it must be great knowing now you have an easy way of getting hired there. I know that. Well, it's actually his dad that runs the company. He just happens to be next in line when it comes to becoming the CEO. And, that means that this wedding will have a lot of very powerful people coming to see it. Well, I assumed that would be the case. So, well, I don't want to have to say this. It's not something I like to think about. Just get on with it already. Or better yet, just type me a paragraph about what you have to say, all right? I'll take a look at it later. Wait 1 sec. I'll tell you. What? Well, when it comes to the wedding, I don't want to invite people that don't belong there. That's what his dad is also saying. As you know, that company is very big, right? So he has to maintain a good image of his company even at the wedding. In other words... So he's told me that he doesn't want for you or your husband to come to the wedding. Is that really something that the man that'll become your father-in-law is saying? I understand that you're going to become his son's wife and all, but I am still your older sister and my husband is your brother-in-law. We would both really like to be at your wedding. So I'm a bit suspicious as to why your husband's dad wouldn't want for us to be there. Well, I said there will be a lot of powerful people at this wedding, a lot of elite people, so it's very important. If people who weren't very well off came to this wedding, it would probably spoil the mood for everyone else there. They might all start to think that the wedding is a joke, you know? So this is what your husband's dad told you? I would never say any of this myself. I would really like for you to be at my wedding, all right? What was that about not being well off? My husband and I are both working full-time and we tend to bring in some decent money. So I don't feel as though either of us aren't well off. But you both never went to college and do your own thing for work, right? You guys aren't a part of any larger company or anything, especially not a massive company like my husband's dad runs. Just because we don't work for large companies doesn't mean we're automatically poor. But of course you guys both appear to be poor based on that. From what I've heard, doing your own work as a job isn't going to really make all that much money. And since neither of you graduated from any university, that's another thing hampering your guys' image. Really, since you both have never gone through the process of job hunting even, you probably don't know much about the working world. And these are all things your husband's father is saying? That's right. Of course, I would never think things like this. I see. Then I would like to go and talk to him about my husband and I. Can you go and tell him that we'd like to meet him in person? What? You want to talk with him? Are you sure? Well, yeah, I am. I want to know why he's so against my husband and I coming to the wedding. You can't do that. If you do that, you'll only be making the situation worse. But you want for us to be there at the wedding, right? I do, but... And that's why I would like to go and see why he won't let the bride's sister and brother-in-law come to her wedding. I'm sure we can help him understand that we aren't some kind of low-life monsters. I don't want to make a huge deal of this, though. After all, this isn't just about the wedding, but my chances of working for that company. I've already left my previous company, and it would be a real shame if I wasn't able to get into the company of my dreams, right? Diana, please understand what I'm saying here. It's really difficult for me to ask this of you, but I can't let my chances of working for that company slip away from me. So you're just going to let him think your older sister and her husband are lowlifes and not fight for your family? I understand that you would still like to celebrate my marriage with me, so after the wedding is over with, we will come and see you guys. By the way, you said you guys moved out of your old place, right? So I have no idea where you're living at now. It might take me a few days after the wedding, but I'll come out to see you guys in your new place, as well as pick up the wedding gifts you have for me, all right? I find it very strange that your own older sister isn't allowed to come and see your wedding. And the reason we're not allowed to be there is because of what your in-laws think of me? And what they think is that because I never went to college and worked for myself, I am poor? I'm not okay with anyone thinking things like that of me, so I need to go have a word with him. How are you even going to talk to him? You don't have his number or email, right? Don't worry, your older sister will figure something out. Wait, Diana, you can't do that! I don't want you to make this situation into a battle for me. I'm asking you to please stop all of that. All right, Morgan. I'll do my best not to make any problems out of this. Thank you. Hello, Mr. Harrison. Do you have a little bit of time to spare?
Yeah, of course I do. I'm assuming this is about business. I would just like to say that myself and my company are very thankful for the deal we've struck up with you, so thank you.
And I am very pleased myself that we were able to work out such a deal with you. My husband is very happy as well, and we think the contracts we've made will do everyone well going ahead.
I love hearing that from you and your husband. I'll make sure to let my heads in the HR department know of this so they can spread the good news.
Now that we've gotten that out of the way.
Is there something else you'd like to talk about? If this is about some concerns you might have still, I can get someone to talk with you about that right away.
No worries, this has nothing to do with work. I just wanted to ask you why you might think that because my husband and I both never went to college and run our own business, you think of us as lowlifes? If that seems to be how you really feel about the two of us, then I'll have no other choice but to cancel those contracts we plan on having. However, I really don't want to have to do that, hence why I wanted to confirm with you yourself about how you truly feel about my husband and I. That's why I've contacted you today, Mr. Harrison.
Excuse me? But what are you talking about?
Your son and my little sister Morgan are going to have a wedding soon, right? I'm aware they aren't even married yet, but my sister seems to think things are so well between your son and her that she calls him her husband already.
I'm aware of the upcoming wedding. I was so happy to use the chance for our families meeting one another as a way of starting business with you a while back, especially now that we have plans to sign an official contract and everything. Both my son and I are very thankful for the relationship he has with your sister. The wedding is being planned to be the largest and most decadent ever thrown at the location, so I hope you're looking forward to it.
And you happened to tell my sister not to invite us as you're afraid that by having two so-called lowlifes at the wedding, it would ruin the atmosphere.
She told you that I said that about you both?
Did you not make those claims?
Of course I didn't. I know that this wedding is a major event for everyone that's involved, and I'm even one of the proud sponsors of it. But I would never ask that you and your husband stay away from it.
Is that so?
I'm not at all sure why Morgan would say that I feel that way about you two, but both myself and my family are looking forward to having you there. I'm sure your sister and your family must feel the same way, right? I don't think there should be anyone asking for you and your husband to stay away.
Hearing that from you has really relieved some of my stress. And that's what I was expecting to hear from you as well, but I just had to be sure.
That's what you were expecting to hear as well.
Well, I just never expected you, of all people, to say things like that about myself and my husband. Now, is there one more thing I can ask you before we stop talking?
What's that?
Well, if I were to not show up on the day of your son's wedding to Morgan, would you be able to take it upon yourself to rethink letting your son marry her?
Why would you ask me something like that? I'm not really sure what that all means exactly.
Well, if I'm not at that wedding and you still allow those two to get married, then I will have to rethink that contract we want so badly.
Wait a second, please. What is going on here?
Well, when the time comes, I can explain what I mean. If I told you what I meant now, then you'd try to do everything in your power to stop what might happen. I would just like for us all to wait for the truth to be revealed, and from there we can all make the correct decisions.
I'm not really sure what all of this means. But if you don't show up to that wedding, then guess I'll have no choice but to cancel and take my son away from Morgan for you. After all, that would be in the best of both of our interests, right?
Correct. Now for the time being, let's just all continue looking forward to that wedding, and wish for both your son and my sister to become happily married. Diana, why didn't you listen to what I told you before? I talked to you before about how my father-in-law didn't want you to come to this wedding, right? You have to understand that I came here regardless of what he said, because I'm your sister. Well, so far not everyone has come here yet besides some of the family, but as time goes on, more and more of the guests will be coming. A lot of my father-in-law's shareholders and those that he considers respectable will all be coming here. Even some of his most important customers will be coming. So please, do not stick around for the rest of this wedding once it starts. Just take your husband and go. I have one thing to ask you first. You're telling me that the groom's father doesn't want either myself nor my husband here, right? I really don't want to have to tell you things like this. But he happens to see a lot of potential in this wedding as well. So, yes, it is terrible for him to ask that you and your husband both stay away, but it's for the best when it comes to his company. I myself don't like the idea of having you both go because it might ruin things between our families. I really, really don't want you both leaving. I love you so much and want to make sure that we stay close to one another forever. But this is what my father-in-law wants. So you seem to love me very much. Of course I do. Are you sure? What are you trying to say? I love you, and that's why I don't want to hurt you. This wedding is going to have a lot of elite people here, as well as a lot of very rich people. There's no telling what you might say to them, especially during the time after the ceremony. You might say things to people that my father-in-law doesn't want you talking to, and that's no good for him. So please, Diana, when people really start to pour in, would you please take your husband and leave? Morgan, tell me the truth. If you tell me the truth right now, you'll be saving yourself a lot of time. Actually, let me go ahead and tell you what I think you want to say. You really want to say to me that you don't want my husband and I here. Am I correct? This isn't what your father-in-law is saying, but what you're wanting to say, right? No, this is really what he's saying about you both right now. I see. Well, then I'm going to complain to him about this right now. He's standing right in front of my eyes right now, so I can make this quick. What? Right now, he's talking with the rest of the family in the changing room as everyone gets ready for your wedding. Wait a second. If you do that to me, it'll be no good for anyone. So then what you're really trying to tell me is that it's you that doesn't want my husband and I here and not him? Hence the reason you don't want me going up to him and complaining? You're afraid that if I do, I'll learn who really doesn't want me here right now. Look, Morgan, now is your only chance to quit it with all this crap and tell me the truth. This isn't about what one person is saying about us. What are you saying? Are you seriously going to keep trying that with me? Well, I guess this is always how you've been. You've always told me what you've been wanting to say to me, but while saying it came from someone else's mouth. Also that you wouldn't look like the jerk, right? That's not true at all. What about the times you'd tell Mom I didn't want chicken for dinner when it was really you who hated chicken? Or what about those times you told me my friends didn't want to play with me anymore when it was really you that didn't want me going out and having fun with them? You would always try making yourself look like the victim, or would always try to make it seem like you were everyone's friend. I felt this kind of emotion from you for a very long time as well, Morgan. That emotion, of course, being hate. I told you, you have it all wrong. You really think I haven't noticed what's going on here? I know about how you've been the one talking crap about me behind my back to everyone. And how you'd sit behind bushes throwing rocks at me, and then later say you saw some of my friends doing it to me. That's why once I graduated from high school, I immediately left the house and your bullcrap. So tell me what you really think. I never wanted for some moneyless lowlives to come to my frickin' wedding. There we go. I knew that that was how you felt all this time, yet you proceeded to beat around the bush for way too long. You and your husband both never went to college and have to rely on yourselves for income now. So I don't want either of your moneyless bodies coming in and sitting with the rest of my family today. Do you not see that the rest of the people here are on completely different levels from you both? I am finally getting married into a family who is known for their massive company. In other words, I've finally struck gold and will never have to worry about money again. Yet I'm struck with embarrassment by the thought of two poor losers coming in and sitting with my family. So let me tell you right now that I don't want either you or that idiot husband of yours here any longer. So what you're saying is that I'm an embarrassment to you and to the family? That's 100% right. Has there ever been a family not embarrassed by their uneducated and poor family member before? Of course there hasn't been one. So with that, you two uneducated and moneyless freaks leave my wedding right now. Well then, that's it for the contract. What? contract? What are you going on about? What I'm talking about right now is the contract your husband's father's company made with my husband and I. Huh? I have no idea what contract you're going on about. What's the company that your soon-to-be father-in-law runs? He runs a company dealing in food. The company happens to run a bunch of restaurants as well and supplies a bunch of other restaurants and stores with food. The company's also manufactured and still manufactures all kinds of frozen foods as well as freeze-dried foods. It's the company whose food probably goes into everyone's mouth. And I've been wanting to join the new department that was created to develop new kitchen appliances. All right then. And did you know that the company was planning on putting all their products into supermarkets all over the country, as well as into all sorts of gas stations and convenience stores? It's expected for that company to roll out a new way of keeping food good for longer outside of being frozen. Did you know that that's the reason why they want to start supplying supermarkets and gas stations and convenience stores? They'll have some of the best foods ready to eat on the shelf. I know about all of that. Well, the people behind the development of that new preservation technique is none other than my husband and I. What do you mean? I never explained this to you, did I? My husband and I run a restaurant. A restaurant? And while we run this restaurant, we are also doing research on ways to preserve foods in a more healthy way. We also work in making really good dishes for dieting and such, which we serve both in our restaurant and online via recipes. We even have videos on YouTube showcasing our newest ideas in the culinary world. We don't show our faces or anything online, but many people know that our business is one of the best in the dieting world. You guys run a restaurant, do research, and run a YouTube channel? Wait, is this possibly what my husband was talking about? He was going on about this huge deal he'd be making for the company with some really popular researchers. He's even been watching their YouTube videos and recreating some of the dishes they've showcased. And for this wedding, I've been on a diet using meals from that YouTube channel. Are you both the ones behind all of that? I believe that would be us he's talking about. He knew about how we have a really successful restaurant and about how we made some new advancements in food preservation, and asked if we could work together to spread that new advancement around across the US. We agreed to the deal being made at the time, but I'm afraid now that I'm going to have to cancel all that. This is all a lie, right? I never knew a thing about the work you did. And you never asked me about any of it either. Instead, just making fun of me for never going to college and saying that that makes me poor automatically. Well, look, no single person that never goes to college should end up with a good job, right? I just assumed you worked as a part-timer and never made the kind of money a salaried worker makes. And when it comes to you and your husband, you guys never had a wedding and neither of you wear any branded clothing. It's totally normal for me to think of you both as moneyless lowlives. Neither of us care for brand clothing, and we just chose not to have a wedding where we invited anyone. To tell you the truth, we had a private wedding with just the two of us, and it took place in the Maldives. The Maldives? And for our honeymoon, we traveled the world going to all sorts of places. We got to see so many cool things in Europe and Asia, as well as experience all the amazing food. You guys traveled the world together? You're making it sound like it was nothing to you both. It wasn't nothing to us, but when you do things like that so often, it doesn't seem all that special anymore. I mean, we have to travel for our work as well, so it's become sort of this work-related thing rather than a luxury to us. Are you kidding me? You both travel that much? That must mean you both are loaded if you're able to do and say all of that. So does this mean you understand what all you misunderstood about us? Well, even if you are able to understand the people my husband and I are, we are still heading home like you asked. And I have no clue what's in store for you once your husband's dad finds out about this. What? Hold on a second. You can stay here all you want now. It was just a simple mistake on my part. And if you're saying you've made a deal with his company, that makes you a customer to him, right? If you don't stick around for the wedding today, I'll be screwed. What will everyone say if they find out I kicked you out of here? Hey, Diana! I'm so sorry, Diana. I was totally in the wrong for all of that, so please forgive me. You shouldn't be seeking my forgiveness. All I did was what you asked for, right? But after you left, things got really bad for me. My husband's father went and canceled the wedding on us and was furious at me. And even my husband says he's going to rethink our marriage. I warned him about this. Also, would you stop calling him your husband? You warned him? I said that if I don't end up showing up for the whole wedding, to rethink that marriage between his son and you. Why would you do that to me? I felt bad that he never knew a thing about the real you, but I was never going to say anything that would ruin your wedding, right? I just told him that if I'm not there, then he should rethink things is all. And, well, you told me not to be there, so... Would you stop blaming me for something I didn't do? Well, you should have just kept your mouth shut about you not being there as well. That was the plan. And you never went and kicked me out of your wedding, right? What? This is what you get for being a turd. Why did you do this to me? Right after you guys left the wedding, I had to go out to the lobby and talk to both my fiancé and his father. They both started to tear into me about how that once-in-a-lifetime deal would be ruined because of me. You did say you planned on working for that company, right? Well, you should be more aware that this company is family-based and they all rely on telling the truth to one another about everything. If someone like you, who ended up lying about what the CEO said about one of his customers being at the wedding, were to join their company, it would spell trouble for the future. So I'm sure that none of them would like you in their company anymore, would they? Well, because of all that, everybody else in the lobby, all those elites and those rich people, all heard what they had to say to me. And now I'm no longer going to be hired by them. I've already left my previous company, so now there's nowhere for me to go. Well, that's a shame for you. Why the hell did you do all of this to me? Telling him to rethink the marriage? They're now asking that I pay for the wedding's cancellation fees. This was going to be a very expensive wedding for us to show off to everyone, and now I'm going to have to pay every penny of it. And since the wedding was canceled, all the gifts to me are gone now. Like I said, it sucks to be you. They've told me they don't want a lying employee like me to be a part of their company at all. And that's the truth. What the hell is wrong with you? It's not my fault that all the crap you've dished out is coming back at you now. So please give it up with all the complaining and leave me alone. This is your problem, is it not? You're my freaking sister. Do something to save me. Do something to make things better between my father-in-law and I. Help me get everything I lost back. I don't have time for that. I have YouTube videos to make. And I have a restaurant to manage. I will apologize for everything, so please, at the very least, make that deal with their company, please. If you do that, then I'm sure they'll rethink things regarding the marriage. I'm really sorry, but I have better things to do than care about you. I mean, you're a real dick to me, so why should I bother with you at all? Please, just handle things yourself for once. No way. You paid all that money to go to such a distinguished university, but didn't seem to learn a thing about acting like an adult. Please, Diana, I promise I'll make all of this up to you. I was relying on this wedding for everything. I had to borrow loads of money for this dress and my parts of the payments. Diana? Please, just come and help me, Diana. Please. It turns out that Morgan and her fiancé were going to hand in their marriage documents right after the wedding, so that ended up falling through. And Morgan was made responsible for paying for the whole wedding. Of course, all of this meant that she would not be getting hired by her fiancé's dad's company, and when she tried to go home to our mom and dad, they turned her away. This wasn't all for Morgan, though, as everyone that was in the lobby at the time of her getting chewed out learned the truth about what kind of person she is. And this led to a lot of people completely avoiding her. As of right now, I'm aware that Morgan had to leave town and moved someplace far away from here. As for my husband and I, we decided to go through with the deal, and starting next month, our preservation technology will be used to put food into all sorts of stores and gas stations all over the U.S. I'm sure some of those stores are even located in whatever town my sister moved to, so she'll be able to see everything went fine on our end. Hey sis, are you there? I heard something was going on with you, but I'm glad that everything seems to have settled down now. I always knew that you were so nice, but I can't believe that you put yourself through all of that just for me. You really are too kind. Do you know that? Tracy, I really wasn't doing what I did for your sake, you know. I broke off my engagement with my fiancé because I caught you two having an affair with each other. Well, I know, but you were engaged to a CEO. You know that it's always been my dream to marry a rich man, right? I don't even know what to say to something like that. Is that supposed to be an excuse? Well, I've just always wanted to live like a spoiled princess, you know? I really don't know. What in the world does that even mean in this day and age? Besides, where did a dream like this even come from? It isn't like we were horribly poor or fantastically rich growing up. Well, I know, but that doesn't mean that I can't want to marry someone who is really rich, because if I did that, then I would never have to work another day in my life. And now I found that man after all this time. It really is like a real-life Cinderella story, isn't it? I don't remember the scene in Cinderella where one of the ugly sisters steals her prince away. Are you sure we were watching the same movie growing up? Oh, come on. You can't actually be mad at me for taking him for myself, right? Don't you know that all's fair in love and war? You've just got to get over this. You think this is something someone can just get over? This isn't a toy or something that you stole from me this time. We aren't kids anymore. You're right. We're adults, and I think that you're forgetting your place right now. I stole your fiancé from you, and that's a fact. You just need to accept the fact that you've been dumped for the better woman. You think I've been dumped? Please. I wouldn't have taken Jerome back if he came begging for me to take him back. I wonder if you have any idea just how pathetic and desperate you sound. I really don't care what you have to say about this anymore. I am through with the both of you. You really don't get it. You aren't the one calling the shots here. Jerome left you for me. Do you understand that? And it's because you weren't enough for him. He chose me over you because it's clear that I'm the better choice. And that's why we had an affair behind your back, because you couldn't make your fiancé happy and now he's left you. I really don't care how you try and frame it. It is true that Jerome cheated on me and that's why we're not getting married. But do you see me crying and moaning over losing him? Whatever, I just know that you've gotten better at hiding it now. But you've always been a little crybaby ever since we were little. Now who's the one trying to act all tough? We both know that you were the one who would resort to tears right away. You're just trying to project your feelings onto me, but it's not going to work. You think that I'm crying over getting your fiancé? As if. I think it's hilarious. I couldn't be happier about this. You have no idea how long it's been my dream to marry someone like a CEO and never have to work again. It's like my whole life has been leading to this moment. You really have no idea what you're talking about, do you? But whatever, what's done is done. Oh, come on! You can't just be taking it that easy. Can't you send me a message in all caps or shout at me over the phone or something at least? I'm not going to do that, but you should know that Jerome is not a CEO. What in the world are you talking about? Of course he's a CEO. He's the boss of the company that you work for, isn't that right? Actually, we have joint management of the company, if you must know. Hold on a second. What is that supposed to mean? How can you both manage the company? Well, I actually started the company with my startup capital. Jerome just snuck his way up the ranks using connections of his. The company is, however, all mine. This doesn't make any sense to me at all. What in the world are you talking about? I mean that when we first met while working for different companies, I had just established mine, and as it grew, Jerome showed interest in helping out. Then we started to talk about getting married. After I got pregnant, the board insisted that I have a co-manager in case anything happened to me, and they selected Jerome. So then, you two had the same job at the same time, but the company was really yours? But then, I don't get it. Are you telling me that you're also the CEO of a company? I would say I'm more CEO than Jerome. After all, it was my money that began the company. And I'd double check about Jerome still being a CEO since he would have been fired by now. Fired? What do you mean by that? I mean that once the board found out that Jerome was cheating on me, they asked him to step down and began a full investigation into him. It turns out that he was using company money to take you out for meals and on dates. So the board had more than enough evidence to fire Jerome right then and there. In fact, I believe all of this happened last week. Last week? Are you sure? He hasn't told me anything about any of this. Well, you might want to go and try talking to him about some of this in that case. But then, doesn't this mean that Jerome isn't even a CEO and that I won't actually be marrying a really rich guy? That's what you're worried about? I tell you that Jerome was embezzling from the company, something he could go to jail for, and that's all you care about? You're just lucky the board already agreed not to press charges as long as Jerome pays the money back. Of course, we are prepared to press charges if that doesn't happen. But I was supposed to live life like a princess. I thought I had stolen your man away from you with my charm and good looks. But now you're telling me that the man I stole from you doesn't even have a job? Yeah, and I don't imagine he has much in the way of savings, given how lavishly Jerome likes to live. But why didn't you say anything about this to me sooner? You should have warned me about him. Ugh, I never want to talk to you again. Are you really saying that to me? Oh, that message isn't showing up as read. Well, okay then. Have a nice life, sis.
Hey Mabel, are you there? What the heck is the matter with you, huh? Why the heck did you have to go and tell your sister that I wasn't the CEO of our company anymore, huh?
First of all, it isn't our company. It's always been my company. Second of all, don't be upset just because I told my sister the truth. Not only about your job, but also all about how you were fired. After all, it's not like I ever promised that I wouldn't tell her.
You little... Don't you realize what you've done? Now she doesn't want to marry me anymore. You've messed up my whole life with this.
Oh, so you mean you've managed to fumble marrying 2 women now? You've really got to work on that, Jerome.
You would like to think so, wouldn't you? But it shows what you know.
And just what is that even supposed to mean, huh?
I mean that I wanted to see how you would react. The truth is that I talked to your sister and smoothed things out. So we're still going to be getting married.
And just what kind of lies did you have to tell her to get her to go along with that?
I told her that the reason I chose to step down from my position as CEO of our company is so that I can do and start my own company. And I've already been preparing for this for a long, long time. After all, I was the one who took our company to where it is today. I know all about how to raise a successful company from the ground up now.
You're really going to start a company all by yourself?
What? Like it's hard? I'm going to start a company and it's going to grow far beyond what you could ever imagine. I'll dominate the industry and become untouchable.
Well, you might know how to found a company, but that doesn't mean that you're any good as a manager. And I don't think you've ever shown any promise there anyways.
Are you kidding me? You're just jealous because I left you and our company to go start my own with my new woman.
You can't actually think that I'm jealous of either you or my sister, right? You realize how stupid you sound, don't you?
Whatever. You're the one who doesn't know what you're talking about. Tracy and I are going to live happily ever after while your company just crumbles without me. Just stay out of my way and never try to interfere with my life again.
I really don't care what you and my sister choose to do with your lives, but you do realize that you need capital to start a business, right? Do you have that kind of money? Because I know that you still owe me for the legal fees from your affair.
You think a genius like me needs to waste my brain power on small details like that? I have big plans, and when I tell them to the bank, they're going to have to give me my loan. And I'll get the loan and start my company and have everything up and running in 6 months.
6 months, huh? You really think you can handle doing all that in such little time? Well, in that case, I want you to pay me what you owe me right now.
This is why you always used to get on my nerves. The second you saw that I was going anywhere in life, you would always find a way to try and hold me back. Why can't you just be more like your sister and let me do whatever I want without making little comments on it?
If you've got a problem with constructive criticism now, just wait until you're in a boardroom meeting. Besides, you knew that I was like this when we first started dating. Did you really expect me to change?
You know, I never even wanted to be engaged to you. But I knew that it was the only way to hold on to my position and my power. But then I met your sister. And I realized I didn't have to sell my soul to live like this. What your sister and I have is true love. And it's going to give us the success we need.
Well, I really do hate to stomp on your dreams, but let's just hope that it's true love that you two have.
Of course it is. We've tied together and nothing is ever going to come between us.
Well, good luck with that. I just hope that you two can stay together long enough to be married.
You'll see. We'll prove you wrong. We'll prove everyone wrong. And then you'll realize that you should have never underestimated me. Just now that I'm never going to work with your company again. So when I'm dominating the industry, you'll have to struggle just to keep the lights on.
Well, you have to go found your own company and get it off the ground first, so good luck with that. And do hurry up and send me the money that you owe me, okay?
Oh, you'll just have to wait for that. But don't worry. Once I have all my success, I'll be sure to pay you back that money with interest. And then you'll realize that that's only a taste of the wealth I'll have. Then you'll see how wrong you were about me.
Hey there, Mabel. I just thought you should know Jerome and I moved in together. At first, I was worried about all the things you were telling me about him, like how he wasn't a real CEO or how he embezzled from the company. But then he finally started his own company, and now we've moved into an amazing condo, and we're the happiest that we've ever been. It's amazing. You moved into a condo together with Jerome? Because I haven't even heard anything about him creating a new company. Well, I suppose that's probably because Jerome just runs in different circles from you, doesn't he? This is where we're going to move into. He told me that he already paid for the condo and that they're just getting it ready for us. Oh, wait a second. I think I recognize that view. Isn't that Mammoth Towers? You mean even you've heard of this amazing luxury condo building? Yeah, I have, actually. Do you know what room you're going to be living in? And just why would I share that with you? Don't tell me that you're going to try to break in and try to steal Jerome away from me. Because you should know that the building has guards in it and someone like you won't be allowed in. Right. Well, in that case, I guess you shouldn't worry about telling me the room number. Whatever. If you must know, the room number is 2305. So you're on the 23rd floor then? That's right. We're almost at the very top of the building. I've never gotten to stay in a place so nice. We're finally going to have our happily ever after. Well, it's just kind of funny because that's my unit. Wait, what? What in the world are you talking about? Do you really think I'm going to buy a lie like that? You have to come up with something better. I'm not kidding you at all. I own unit number 2305 in Mammoth Towers. Oh, just stop it already. Jerome sent me that photo from his phone. He was inside the unit and everything. There's no way that you own the building that we're about to move into. That doesn't make any sense at all. Well, yes, I'll say the interior does look like it's changed a lot. Although you should know that I got that unit because we bought it from Jerome's parents. But the building was under his dad's name for a while. Well, now you're not making any sense at all. How can it be your unit if it's under Jerome's dad's name? Okay, I guess I'll have to explain the whole thing then. So that building was finished about a year ago. Around then, Jerome's dad thought to invest in the building company, thinking he would see some big returns. He bought a unit hoping to make a quick buck flipping it, but he wasn't able to pay for the whole thing. So then he came to me and asked me to buy it. So then you're telling me that you bought this unit from Jerome's dad who couldn't afford to get one himself? Pretty much, yeah. But now that I look at this photo, I can see that this is from when Jerome's dad still took care of the place. And that's why it's so different from how I have the unit looking now. But this can't be right. I mean, Jerome said that he and I would be moving in there. I already have my bags packed and everything. Well, I don't know what to tell you except that it's not Jerome's place to choose what to do with it. How could you do this to us? What's the matter with you? I didn't do anything. In fact, you were the one who said that you never wanted to talk to me again. So how is this all coming back onto me? Because we're supposed to go and live in that big condo building. We were supposed to have our happily ever after there. Why do you always have to ruin things for me, Mabel? You're the worst sister ever. Look, I know this is probably a lot for you to take right now, but you can't blame this on me. But it's not just now. You've always stolen everything I wanted from me, even when we were little. I didn't steal anything from you. In fact, you would always take from me. Whenever I tried to get it back, you would instantly start crying to get Mom and Dad on your side. But it's not fair. I want to live in that big condo. It should be all mine. Well, it was never yours nor Jerome's to begin with. A while ago, Jerome's dad needed money right away and offered to sell me the condo for the price he had put into it. I bought it and have been living there for a while. That's how I know that the interior looks different now. I don't know why Jerome thinks you two are moving in, but it's just not going to happen. If anything, I think that this is just one small part of a much larger lie that he's telling you. But this really isn't my problem anymore. Please don't bother me with stuff like this ever again. It turns out that when it was time to move, Jerome ended up taking my sister to go and move in with his parents. Apparently, they were in serious debt, and this was part of the plan to use Jerome and Tracy to pay off their debts. Tracy was messaging me, begging to help get her out of there, but I just read her texts and then blocked her number. She tried living with them for a couple of months, just hoping that this was all part of Jerome's plan to start his own company. Of course, he had never really even begun the process and was lying to Tracy this whole time about his intentions. I heard later from my parents that they ended up bailing out Tracy and rescuing her from her in-laws' house. Now, both my mom and dad are keeping a very close eye on Tracy and making sure she finds a job and learns some responsibility. As for me, life went on as normal. Nothing Jerome or Tracy did really ever had a chance to affect me. I told my parents that I wouldn't be doing anything to support my sister, and they understood and agreed with me.
Thank you for watching till the end. If you felt good about this video, like the video. If you didn't like it, let me know why in the comments. Subscribe too. Your likes and subs lead to our motivation. We have so many videos on our channel as well, so go ahead and take a look. See you in the next video.